Deuce McAllister, WWL. Deuce after loss to Falcons. Saints know what the issues are. They just can't fix them. I agree with that. They probably do know what the issues are, but they can't fix them because of our head coach and offensive coordinator. The coaches are not good enough. The coaches, everyone in that building probably does. It's very astute from Deuce, because everyone in the building probably does know what the issue is. But it's like, how do we fix it? I've made this comparison plenty of times, but like, if a plane is going down, the pilot probably knows like there is a problem here. But if it's going down, the pilot probably doesn't know how to fix it. And that's what's going on here. It's a sinking ship. The Saints are a sinking ship. With Pete Carmichael, Dennis Allen, Derek Carr, even to an extent, the current regime, the current roster makeup, all that stuff is probably a sinking ship. And we do not have the guys, we do not have the brains, we do not have any of that stuff to fix it. It is not going to be until we bring in whoever, whether it's Brian Flores and Eric Bieniemy or Ben Johnson or whatever combination of whoever, until we bring those people in, nothing's going to get fixed. You can look around the NFL. Jacksonville were absolutely horrendous. Still had Trevor Lawrence. Urban Meyer, one of the worst single seasons in coaching history. And all of a sudden, they fix it. Interesting. How do they fix it? Bring in a new regime. Bring in somebody who can actually get things done. It's all over the league where you'll see that. Where you'll see horrible franchise. Miami Dolphins have been irrelevant for most of my life. Bring in Mike McDaniel. Boom. Like the Rams. Whatever franchise, bring in Sean McVay, he takes over, Super Bowl. Multiple Super Bowl appearances. Saints, same thing. The Aints, bring in Sean Payton, bring in Drew Brees, enjoy 15 years of success. Happens all over the place. Patriots, nothing franchise. Bring in Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady had the most winningest stretch in sports history. This is a league where you have to have the coaches and you have to have the quarterback. The Saints don't have any of that. Like the Saints, I brought this up weeks ago. If you look at head coach, coordinator, if you look at just that, you could throw the quarterback in there too. Head coach, coordinator, quarterback. What team is worse off than the Saints? And I thought about it, and I was like, well, maybe Carolina, right? But would you rather have Bryce Young and just be like, well, he's young, he's developing, he's doing this? Or would you rather have the $150 million contract with Derek Carr? And then it's like, oh, Frank Reich, who just got fired today. But like Frank Reich or Pete Carmichael. I'll take my chances with Frank Reich. I mean, who else? Like another, I guess maybe Tampa. You could say Tampa's in a pretty bad spot with. I say that, but Tampa seems to be in a better spot this season than the Saints. But like having Bowles and Mayfield, it's just crazy that Loomis, as a GM, president of football operations, whatever, has allowed us to get to this point. I mean, we have to shake things up.
Deuce, unfortunately, Saints still trying to figure out this offense. Nothing doing today in the red zone, unfortunately. Groupie had a pretty successful day right up till the end. At least he was one of the brighter spots, I guess you could say, for the offense.
What the hell? Groupie had a pretty successful day. He was 5 for 6 on field goals. Unbelievable. He's one of the brighter spots on the offense. He was the bright spot. Blake Groupie was the sun. He was the brightest spot in the sky. 5 field goals.
Providing the only points for the team this game, but man, just that inability to get into the end zone again, haunting this Saints squad.
Well, and look, 400 yards of offense. You're not figuring it out. You know what you're doing. You're not executing in the red zone. That's your problem. You know what you're doing, but you're not executing. The first time that you're down there, you had a guy that had it, we'll call it a glitch. He just forgot to play.
Yeah.
He doesn't run the play.
A.T. Perry, is that what you're talking about? A.T. Perry, so according to A.T. Perry, he thought the referee threw a flag. He thought he had a false start, so he just stopped. And then Derek threw it into the 14th row.
Play before that, Rashid, he goes down, the ball is low. It's got to be low because of the placement of the safety. He drops it. He gets hit. He drops it, though. You've got to make that catch. That was the first one. The next couple of times you get down there, you had a holding call, 2 holding calls that back you up. The other time, you stare down where you want to go with the football, and the safety reads the quarterback eyes. He jumps it. That's a pick 6. That's not on the defense. That's on the offense. Next time you're down there, you don't take care of the football. Defense does an outstanding job of punching it out. So I don't say that you don't figure it out. You know what you're doing. You're not executing. That's the problem.
Looking at some of the problems, too, with this defense. Able to get the 2 takeaways in the game, but, man, just getting gashed on the ground way too much.
Well, I agree with you 100%, and you knew Atlanta was going to run the football.
Yeah, I mean, that is problematic, that we knew Atlanta was going to run the football. That's what they do. Everyone knows that. Everyone on the team knows that Atlanta's going to come in, try and run the ball. They can't throw. They have Desmond Ridder, who is garbage. And we allowed them to do what they wanted to do. But we gashed them on the ground. We had takeaways. So why did we lose by two possessions? Why were we never in the game? Yeah, that's where we're at. That's a very frustrating thing as a fan, is that the team can have the same-ish success as another team, but because of our ineptitude, it can look so different. We can have 400, like if I told you we're going to have 400 plus yards of offense, we're going to win time of possession, we're going to force 2 turnovers, we're going to run the ball for 5.5 yards per carry. If I told Chris Olave was going to have 7 receptions for over 100 yards, if I told you all that, you'd be like, damn, we're about to go crazy. Like, we're about to light it up. And then what if I told you, oh, we scored 15 points and lost by two scores? What? How? How is that possible? You know, like, even when we do things that seem good, we can't reap the rewards. Like, we don't see any of the rewards. And that is frustrating because, you know, I don't know. I mean, I can't even imagine for the players how frustrating it is to week in, week out have the same story. You know, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to watch. And, you know, I'm a fan. I sit here and watch the team and do commentary or whatever. But as a player, to experience this week in and week out, it's just got to be so frustrating.
Found a zone play that they liked, and they kept running it over and over and over again. They won the line of scrimmage. That's where the game was lost. There was a couple times that the Saints were able to get a little pressure on the quarterback, but he was swift enough to move. And
yeah, we had no sacks. Again, the Saints seem to just have trouble getting sacks. The defense is leaking at the end. At the end of the season, the defense started off looking like an elite unit. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but you know, they're not. I think we can all sit back and say this is not an elite unit, but towards the end of the year now, they're not even. I wouldn't even say they're good. I wouldn't even say they're probably middle of the road. They might be like, I don't know, like the 16th, 7th, somewhere in there, like 16th, 17th best defense right now, like the way they're playing. You know, you attach that to an offense that can't score. It's ugly, and I am obviously biased when it comes to this team, and I have been the one who sat here and said we have an easy schedule because we should be better than Tampa Bay, we should be better than Minnesota, we should be better than Atlanta, we should be better than the Giants and the Rams and the, you know, these teams that were playing, the Titans and all these teams. And maybe that's where I made the mistake of like, we're actually closer to even with those teams. And if that's the case, then yeah, I mean, the schedule's not easy. You know, obviously, if you're just as good as the easy teams on your schedule, or if you're around the same, if the Saints are the 18th best team and the Rams are the 20th best team, or vice versa, then it's not an easy game, right? I was expecting the Saints to be closer to like the 10th best team in the league, and then for us to be facing the 25th best team in the Bucks, and the 23rd best team in the Rams, and the 28th best team in the Giants. But the reality is, it's just 2 kind of bad teams playing. And when 2 kind of bad teams are playing, just like the Giants and the Patriots this week, stuff can happen. You know, that's where I think that's what I'm realizing in the backstretch of this season. Just like this game, I made the same mistake as Minnesota, where I saw the line. I said, man, the Saints are a 2-point favorite on the road. Vegas assumes they're much better than their opponent. I can get on board with that. But then after the game, I'm thinking, who the hell do I think the Saints are that they can be giving up points on the road? Giving up points. The last thing we should be doing is giving up points. We can't score. You're telling me that this team is going to win by margin? You're telling me this team I think this team is good enough to just give up points on the road? I mean, it's crazy. We made Josh Dobbs and Desmond Ridder look like the most elusive quarterbacks on earth. Desmond Ridder is not an elite threat on the ground. And what do you have? 7 carries for 40 yards or something today? Couldn't sack him, escaping everything like he was Mike Vick. And we do that every week. Like I said, it was Josh Dobbs. It was Desmond Ridder. It was Tyson Bagent for the Bears. Like, think about these quarterbacks. Tyson Bagent, Josh Dobbs, Desmond Ridder. We made look like they couldn't be sacked.
Just buy some time, and you don't come up with a sack, and then there was a drive or two where the Saints looked like the Saints of old as far as just being physical, but it's just you lost the line of scrimmage. That's what happened, and Atlanta was able to kind of do some of the things that they wanted to do, and you ended up getting beat.
What did you think of the day out of a guy like Caden Ellis? Seemed to be pretty active against his old squad.
Well, he's got to be active. I mean, he kind of understood and knew some of the tendencies from that Saints team, and so particularly when they ran the football, hey, if I can shoot the gap, I can make a play here. But, I mean, if you go back and look at it, there were situations where you could have picked on Cade. I'm going to –
Yeah, Alvin Kamara had quite a few situations where he was one-on-one with Caden Ellis. And like Deuce said, we could have picked on him. We could have had Kamara just run him all over the place. But we didn't do that. We didn't do that at all. I think we did it once. There was one time I remember where Alvin and him were, Alvin kind of brought him into the deep waters. Why weren't we doing that all game long? Why didn't Alvin why didn't he have 10 catches once Olave went out and Rasheed went out? Why wasn't it just like, okay, we're going to have to get Alvin mismatched with a linebacker and we're going to feed him the ball?
To put Caden in coverage. I mean, and so when they were able to, you were able to hit some passes on him. I mean, but when you couldn't do that, he made some plays. So it wasn't like Caden blew it up for you. I think you just didn't pick on him enough, and you knew the scouting report on him. You put him in coverage. You put him in coverage where he has to cover a tight end or a running back, and that's where I'm going with the football.
Yeah.
Deuce, this team's taking a few body blows now, reeling after 2 straight losses. You look at them dropping down now in the division, obviously, to the Atlanta Falcons, but there's still plenty of ball left to play. I hate to put things that way, but it is what it is, and it's true right now. What do you do as this team coming back home now after this tough loss in Atlanta?
Treat it like a bye week. Detroit has extra rest. Detroit is a much better team. Detroit is pissed off. They just blew one on Thanksgiving to Green Bay. Get people healthy, get your life together, Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, and then we have to win the last 5 games. That's it. We've got to win the last 5 games. We've got to find a way to win 10 games. We've got to find a way to win the division. That's the goal. The Detroit game, as bad as it sounds, kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of things, unless we can have some kind of insane upset. But I would assume Olave's in concussion protocol. I would assume Rasheed probably nursing his leg injury. I'd sit both of them. I'd sit both of them and say, guys, get healthy. Get healthy, because the last 5 games of the season are 5 straight Super Bowls. We have to win all of them. So,
well, regardless if you had won or lost, it would have been great to go up 2 in that division. But I mean, you were going to have 6 games whether you won this game or lost this game, and so you can say we don't need any help, and you truly don't need any help by anybody. But you've got to figure out a way to win a game. Can you figure out?
Yeah, you got to find a way to score. Find a way to score. Find a way to have success. I mean, even like the Bears game, like we forced 5 turnovers, and we were listless in the red zone. It's the same problem every single week. Like, it's the same problem. And Deuce is wrong about the fact that winning or losing that game, whatever, you still have 6 games. If we win that game in Atlanta, we pretty much win the division. Because then we've got Carolina at home. We've got Atlanta at home. And if you beat Atlanta twice, the division is locked up. So this game, and that's why it was so hard to watch. The fact that we had a bye week, the fact that we had to know, like, this is the division. This is the biggest game of the season. You win this game, you have a stranglehold on the division. The fact that we knew all that, and then we this is the performance we give.
Got a way to win a game, and it's hard to win in the NFL because you have to be able to go out there and execute. When you don't execute, you see the margin where, hey, look, no touchdown here, you get down here, you don't execute, it's a penalty.
No touchdown here. What is here? The entire game? Because we didn't have a touchdown the entire game.
It's another penalty. It's a turnover. That's all execution. We can talk about the struggles or they're not doing this. You are moving the football. It's not all of a sudden, we can't move the football. You had over 400 yards of total offense.
Yeah, we discussed that in a previous video. Totally different. If you're moving the ball in the middle of the field and you can't move it in the red zone, it's not the same thing. You're not running the same offense. You're not running the same plays. The field isn't the same. The defense isn't the same. Having success in between the 30s doesn't matter. You can move the ball all you want from your 25 to the opponent's 30 or 25. If you can't score in the red zone, if you're not successful there, who cares? You know, it's easy to be successful with the entire field. It's easy to be successful with a lot of field to work with. It's hard to be successful in the red zone. And bad teams, bad quarterbacks, bad coaches, whatever, they are shown. It's a spotlight in the red zone. Rookie quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks are notoriously bad in the red zone. One of my favorite things used to be to bet on bad teams that their first score would be a field goal. Because my thinking was, if they get in the red zone, bad quarterbacks and bad offenses, they fall apart. It's like a log jam, and they're going to kick a field goal. And we are that team.
You're moving the football. You're not executing in the red zone. Everything shortens. Everything is quicker. Everything happens faster.
Yeah.
You have to understand what you're doing, and too many guys, or let's just say offensively, you don't know what you're doing. Let's just say
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, go down below in the comments, sound off what you heard from Saints legend Deuce McAllister. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.